Hello, so now I want us to be able to work on navigation in our Next.js application. We need to also be able to handle protected routes inside our next application. So in order for us to be able to start working with that, checking for all sections and all, let's not waste too much time and just go into this app folder here and then click on the context folder, and then all we have to do is to create the auth context file here, auth context.tsx, right? So after creating our auth context.tsx, actually my project is running in the terminal, so you can see here, right? So after creating this auth context.tsx, what is the first thing that we want to do? The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that this is a use client. You know there has to be a space here, so, and it has to be this. So yeah, then we'll come down here and we would say session. Okay, so session provider from nextauth/react, then import react from react here. Okay, then we'll do the interface thing. So interface, then we would say auth context props, then inside we pass in the children, and we make sure that the children is what is react node, right? So okay, nicely done. So now that we've been able to work this out, let's do our export default. Our export default is going to be function auth context, then we open up children. So we pass in the children prop, and then we make sure that we set the type to auth context prop. Then right after that, we need to go ahead and create this curly braces. Then inside we return this really simple component inside. So here we are going to say session props, session provider, and we just wrap it around the children prop, right? So nicely done. Right after setting this up, our next big move is to go into the layout.tsx and wrap it around our application. So inside the layout.tsx, you can see the children here. What you're quickly going to do is you're going to come here right in between the body, and then we are going to start by saying what auth context, and then we would import that. So auth context imported, and then we'll come and wrap it around here. Okay, so now that we've been able to work with this, we can now move on to the next thing. Right now, what is the next thing? The next thing is we want to make sure that after we are signed in, or after we have registered, we can navigate to a certain page that we would see, right? So now this is basically like a high level idea of how navigation inside our Next.js application is going to work. So inside the app, you can just come here and create like a new folder. You can say something like profile, and then inside your profile you can have page.tsx inside here. You can come inside and create your REFCE and just like change it to your profile here. Then if you want to access it, all you have to do is come here and go to profile, right? Then you should see that it should allow you enter this profile here, and then you see this your profile inside, right? So now that we have this idea, what we are quickly going to do is we're just going to delete that. Let's close this, and then what we are going to do is inside this app folder, we're going to create a new folder called users. Then inside this users, we have page.tsx, and inside your page.tsx, you want to quickly create your REFCE, and then you change it to what users, right? Nice. Now that we understand how this works, what we quickly want to do is we can just test it out, right? We can test it out, say users. Okay, nice. Then right after doing this, we want to make sure that we add like this sample button. So we can quickly create this sample button that actually logs us out anytime we try to log in, because we'll be doing some redirection, right? So we can just say log out. So we log out, right? Then inside we will have to pass an on click. So on click, then inside this on click, you're going to pass in an empty parameter arrow function. Then we make sure that right after this arrow function, we send the sign out. Then we just initialize that, right? So yes, and we are getting this error because we need to make sure that this is a use client. So use client, noise. So now that we've been able to, okay, this is weird. Okay, yeah, it's here now. Okay, nice. So now that we have this working out, let's quickly navigate ourselves to this side. Now we want to make sure that whenever we create an account or whenever we register, we are automatically logged in, right? So in order for us to be able to create that, what we are quickly going to do is we are going to go into the auth form, and I believe that is in sites, then components, then auth form, right? Then we're going to do like a couple of checks here. So we're going to say const session, right? Const session, and then this session is equal to use session here. Then we initialize it, store it inside that variable, then we are going to use it here. So let's quickly write some use effects, and then this use effect is what is going to allow us to check for certain things, right? So you can just create this use effect simply. Then what are we trying to check? Now first of all, let us make sure that we are running this use effect every time the session dot status of the current activity changes, right? So we want to make sure that every time the session dot status changes, we run this use effect. Now what are we running inside the use effect? We are basically going to check. We are going to say, oh, check. If we check and then we see that the session dot status is giving us authenticated, then we want to do some redirection, right? So in order for us to be able to do this redirection, what we are going to do is we're going to come here and then say const router, then we are going to bring in use router here, right? Then this use router, we are going to take it from next/navigation. You don't want to take your use router from next router because that's old, and then now the one that is being used in the latest versions is the one from next /navigation. Then so we are trying to say that what if we check the auth status and then it is authenticated, that means the user is logged in. Then we want to take this router and then we want to push it to what /users. Nice and easy. All right, no, I don't want to send anything to the chat. All right, so nice and easy. So right after working with this, right after setting this up, we want to come down here and then set up a few things. So you remember that I mentioned to you before that I want to make sure that once the user registers, the user is already signed in, right? So in order for us to be able to do that, we just bring in this sign in, then we call the credentials, then we just pass in the data. Nice and easy. For the login, for that one we can just, for the login, that one is just simple, it's already done, so it's quite automatic. We can just start testing, right? Now you remember that the other time we deleted most of the, like, we deleted every user inside the database and basically created new ones with a social auth, right? So let's come here and create new users. So what we are going to do quickly is I'm going to say test user here, and okay, so yeah, this is name, so just test user, and then inside we're going to say test user at gmail.com. Then here we're going to say test user. Okay, nice. Then right after we can just register, and it should basically redirect us. Okay, now, okay, so now we have been redirected to the users page. Now there's something that is going to occur here, and I need you to understand this, right? If we log out over here, fine, we are logged out now. Okay, we are logged out, but we are still here, we are still inside the users, the users route, right? But we said we are logged out, so it's like you have to manually come back here and come and set it to the initial page, right? Now, in order for us to be able to fix this is where we learn about protected routes, right? So let's quickly come to the root part of our project here, which is this one, this folder. Then we create a new file called what, middleware.ts, right? Now inside this middleware.ts, we are going to write a couple of things, right? Now the first thing we are going to do is we're going to export default, right? Then we take with auth. So this with auth, we take it from nextauth/middleware. Then we open it up. Then inside it we say what, pages. Okay, so inside this pages, what do we need? Sign in. Then this sign in page is going to be what, the home page. So we are saying that with the auth pages, our sign in page is definitely going to be this root, or this root page, right? This main page, right? Now right after setting this up, we want to come here and then say export. We want to say export, then what, we are export const config, right? Then inside create this quick object. Then we are going to say what, matcha. Okay, so this matcha, okay, nice. Now this matcha, we are going to make it an array. Then it's going to hold the value of what, slash users slash path star. Okay, now I would understand if you ask questions and be like, so why do we have this star? Because, like, you know, with previous React knowledge, we know that this one works, but like, why do we have the star? We are not only protecting, in this case, we are not only protecting the users and whatever comes after it. So maybe we have this local host here, and we come down here and write this, right? So it's like, in this case, we are protecting users and whatever is here, right? But when we add the star, it means whatever comes after it, like whatever comes after it are also protected, and that is obviously a good thing. That's what we are looking for. So there shouldn't be a problem implementing this inside your project. Okay, so basically this thing ended because we had added this middleware.ts, right? So don't worry about that. All we have to do is to just run our npm. All we need to do is run our npm run dev. Okay, so after running your npm run dev, okay, so our project is here again, and I'll just refresh just in case. Then we can go back and check a few things. So let's make sure that no user has been created. Okay, yes, no user has been created. We are safe. We can test it out. So inside here, we just say what, we just go to a create account and then create a new account. So test user at gmail.com. Then inside we say what? Test user at, oh yeah, this has to be named. So test user, and then this one is test user at gmail.com. Then we say test user, same as the name, and then we can just register. Okay, so as you can see, our registration has been successful, and it will quickly navigate us to the users the users page over here. Okay, and then you realize that when I log out, it takes us back to the home, and then when we try to log back in using our user that we created, oh yeah, yes, it basically takes us to the page. Okay, we can log back out too and log back in one more time. And that should basically be it. So yes, in the next video, what we are going to be looking at is we are going to look at the sidebar and how we are going to be able to work and style our layout. Alright, so hopefully I'll see you in the next video.